Okay, so the idea for this video actually came up several weeks ago, but there were a few topics I wanted to bring up, which led me to delay this video. A few weeks ago, I watched Pan Pizza's Forgotten Nick Show's video, and a cartoon that really caught my attention was Making Fiends. Now, because I didn't grow up with Nickelodeon, I wasn't very familiar with Making Fiends, though after watching that video, it seemed like a show that appealed to me, so I decided to check it out, and it was a good experience. The show is basically about this girl named Charlotte who moves to this gloomy town called Clamberg, where everyone is pretty much dominated and enslaved by this other girl called Vendetta, who is capable of creating fiends who ultimately terrify the entire town, with the exception of Charlotte. I really enjoyed the dynamic between these two characters. Vendetta is this bitter, maniacal, and apathetic girl who gets really annoyed by Charlotte. You can tell that Vendetta never had any experience with someone like Charlotte, as she constantly tries to destroy Charlotte, but constantly fails. The voice actor does a good job portraying Vendetta, and she sounds a bit like a witch and weirdly Dexter, although her evil laugh could use a few boosters. Charlotte is this overly optimistic, loving, and incredibly naive girl who seems to be oblivious to Vendetta's obvious hatred for her and how her surroundings are incredibly joyless. I appreciate how the show managed to create this gloomy, hopeless, and almost depressing environment which perfectly contrasts Charlotte's personality and attitude. When you listen to the show's theme song, it kinda sounds like a parody of a preschool cartoon. In fact, this entire show feels like a spoof of a preschool cartoon. A character like Charlotte is usually found in innocent and friendly cartoons. Again, usually. But instead, she's in this crude and kid-friendly dark universe. The innocent nature that Charlotte provides to the show creates a much more powerful effect whenever the show gets a little dark. Of course, the relationship between Charlotte and Vendetta is not something I would call unique. I've seen this done several times in several cartoons before and even after this cartoon was released. Wonder Over Yonder is probably the best example out of all the cartoons that came out after Making Fiends, though there's one thing that Wonder Over Yonder does better than Making Fiends is animation. I am not very impressed with the show's animation. It's not very fluid and detailed. The art style is also not very good. I don't mind that every character is one colored, though the character designs are a little too overly simplistic. Maybe the oversimplification of the art of the show is meant to emulate the low production value of the original shorts, or it's meant to serve as an emphasis on the simplistic style of the show. Either way, I expected the show to have better art direction, given that it was produced by a highly budgeted company. Speaking of the online shorts, I did try to watch some of them, but I couldn't handle them because of how cheap the animation and the sound editing are. I did notice that some of the shorts were adapted in the television show, and if you want to watch them, you can go to Amy Winfrey's YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. The benefit of that is that the shorts are actually in HD and not this forced 16:9 aspect ratio that was clearly stretched from a 4:3 aspect ratio. Anyway, getting back to the review, every episode of the show has a basic but entertaining story to offer. Sometimes the episodes will be composed of multiple independent plots and short little skits. These episodes are always called short set, and here is when the preschool parodying nature of the show is more apparent, mainly because of the jingles that occasionally play during the episodes. While the show is not deeply complex, intentionally or unintentionally, it does still have a few minor themes, like how the population of Clanbrook are just living their days miserable and hopeless, to the point where one of them even felt guiltless when she decided to follow Vendetta's footsteps. Or, and this is probably my favorite, when the nice teacher was promised to have a slightly happier life if he would just kill Charlotte. That episode immensely worked because you wouldn't really blame him that much if he actually did decide to kill her, as you understand that his life is dreadful and probably lost all conscience, or at least he should have. Even then, he was only being tempted as he was constantly telling himself not to kill her. And when he saved Charlotte from falling instead of pushing her, it was a great moment because of how it reincorporated a previous scene from the beginning of the episode, and it gave a feeling of hope for Clanberg. It also gives hope to cartoons imported from the internet. I still prefer networks greenlighting original shows pitched by creators, but if a channel like Nickelodeon decides to import a show from the internet, I'll be slightly less skeptical now, which is the most optimistic I can get given Nickelodeon's history. Overall, I think Making Fiends is a great show. Perhaps I'm overrating this show, but I just admire how this show makes me laugh and how much enjoyment I get out of watching it. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Oops, I just stole the outro for Phil's key bump. Oh, but don't worry guys, It's a reference, so that automatically makes it okay somehow.